So let's get started. Welcome to the UCEAP info session with the National University of Singapore, or NUS. I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Jacob O'Quinn. He is zooming in all the way from Singapore to talk to us about this fantastic program and will be available for questions afterwards. Jacob manages the exchange programs between NUS and UCEAP. He himself is from the US and studied abroad at NUS while an undergrad. So we're not kidding when we say that study abroad can change your life. And with that introduction, I would like to hand things over to Jacob.
Thanks, May. I totally echo those sentiments. So I studied abroad here and have ended up living here about 10 years. So the study abroad programs can definitely change kind of the direction of your life. And hopefully I'll be able to give some good advice as an American in Singapore working at NUS. So we'll dive right into the presentation. So I always start with this slide to just kind of give some context of where Singapore is. It's known as the little red dot here in Southeast Asia, and it has that nickname for quite a good reason. It's actually quite a small island. From East Coast to West Coast, it's about an hour, maybe hour and a half in traffic. So a very different kind of circumstance than the US when we talk about East and West Coast. We're 1 degree above the equator, so that means it's hot and humid all year long. Some average temperatures are around 30 degrees Celsius or 88 degrees Fahrenheit. But one of the best pieces of advice I received as an undergrad student was actually to pack some warmer clothes because indoors can be heavily air conditioned. So if you are watching a movie or taking an exam here, you'll definitely find that you use your sweaters a little bit more often than you would think, seeing these average temperatures. In terms of why Singapore, students have a variety of different reasons for choosing their study abroad locations. I was an economics major during undergrad, so I was just kind of fascinated by the Singapore story and just kind of how Singapore had accomplished so much in such a little amount of time. So that really compelled me to study abroad here. It is English speaking, so I feel like if you're an only English speaker, it's a great study abroad destination with no language barrier. One of the safest cities in the world, and very seamless public transportation. So getting around the island is a breeze. And after 10 years of living here, it still kind of amazes me how quickly you can access things through buses and trains on the island. In terms of the architecture, I think Singapore is a great kind of collage of different cultures and different time periods. So here you see kind of these modern skyscrapers, but then it's not featured on the slide, but you can kind of take one kind of stroll down the street and see a temple and a mosque and a church. So you see all of these different cultures kind of coming together. So I think that, and given how small the island is, you're able to see quite a lot during your time here. So I think people will very much appreciate just kind of the architecture and the variety of different cultures that exist on the island. Another thing is when people hear about 5.5 million people living on such a small island, they kind of assume that it's going to be kind of concrete and glass. And every time I've had family or friends visit, one of the things that they're really struck by is how green the island is. So this photo just kind of shows all of the many different kind of green spaces that are kind of seamlessly weaved into the city. To show you the left-hand side, the middle photo there, that's actually our School of Design and Environment. So even the kind of greenery that's kind of made Singapore famous, that is included even on our campus at Kent Ridge. Another thing that has probably kept me on the island for 10 years is the food. It's such an amazing kind of melting pot of different cultures, and that translates over to the food as well. So this kind of main shot here would be the Hawker Center, or kind of an outdoor food court that's kind of synonymous with Singapore. And this photo on the right is an exchange student from a few years ago, enjoying kind of a classic hawker meal. So I think students will definitely enjoy just kind of the variety of food and just how easy it is to find great food at affordable prices here in Singapore. To just kind of introduce the university a little bit. So NUS is the flagship university here in Singapore. We were founded in 1905 as a medical school, and we have since grown to a comprehensive university with 17 different schools and faculties. We are located on kind of the western part of the island. We're about 35 minutes from the city if you're taking the train or bus. 30 minutes from the airport if you're taking a taxi. And I think NUS is a great kind of best of both worlds situation where we're far enough away from the city to where you do have this dedicated kind of campus feel, but we're right on the metro and you're able to kind of go into the city if you want to in the evenings or on weekends. So you kind of get the best of both. You're accessible, yet you're kind of in your own little bubble on campus. So you feel like you're having a proper college experience. In terms of some of the amenities on campus, so we have kind of a wide variety of different things available. So these are kind of some snapshots of what students have taken over the years and some of their favorite things on campus. So we have one of the largest Starbucks on the island. That's a great study place over at University Town. Bubble tea is all the rage here now. So there's lots of different bubble tea outlets throughout campus. Again, some food outlets. And then in addition, some of the more practical things would be things like our new sports center. We have convenience stores and grocery stores, banks, and a university health center, all connected with an internal bus network. So again, it's a great standalone campus. You could honestly just kind of live on campus if you needed and not have to venture out. But then if you do want to, we're right on the metro line. In terms of campus activities, so I'll draw everyone's attention to this NUS Sync. So this is a portal that kind of shows all the different clubs and societies that you're able to get involved in. And I would say in this kind of period of COVID and like travel not being so accessible, this could be a great way to enhance your exchange experience by getting involved on campus. So there's different arts and cultures, clubs, sports, community service, and interest groups. So I would say that's great for just kind of making your experience at NUS special and kind of getting to know the local community while you're here. Even when COVID blows over and travel is allowed again, often exchange students do find themselves kind of traveling every weekend or trying to travel as much as possible. And I do ask students to try to strike a balance in terms of getting to know Singapore while you're here, because it is a fascinating place with lovely people. So it's really great to kind of balance your experience and not be so travel focused while you're here. In terms of specific activities for exchange students, we have a group of peer advising leaders or PALs, and they are a group of anywhere from 6 to 10 NUS students who have recently returned from their exchanges, and they organize a wide variety of different events throughout the semester. So I'll go through this slide quickly, but these are some of the events that they do, and then they'll email students and have people join a Facebook group. That way you're all connected throughout your time here. So in terms of the student exchange program, so this would be the reciprocity program we have with UCAP. This is a chance to spend a semester, excuse me, or a full academic year at NUS. And so we have about 2,000 exchange students with us every year. So rest assured you will not be alone while you're here. UCAP is actually our biggest exchange partner. So we have, I think, probably around 100 just UC students here every academic year. In terms of what you can take, I'll kind of skip to this. So we have what we call a university-wide exchange agreement with UCAP. So the modules available from the top 5 faculties and schools are what are applicable to our exchange. So that would be our arts and social sciences, engineering, science, computing, and design and environment. Business, law, and university scholars program are actually not included. Those are often specific agreements between different business or law schools, or UCAP, USP is our honors college. So this slide deck is really to give students kind of all the resources that they need to plan effectively for their exchange. So these links here would link you to the list of modules for exchange students, and as well as the restricted modules and the timetable builder. So I feel like with these 3 links, you would really be able to start to prepare for your exchange and talk to your study abroad advisors at your various UC campuses about how to make your semester work for your academic plan. But just for some kind of practical advice, exchange students will take around 3 to 5 modules or courses every semester. And NUS does follow a lecture tutorial system where there's one main lecture every week, and then tutorials are every week or every other week. And I found that a little bit different just coming from the US and kind of used to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule. This kind of 1 lecture a week plus 1 tutorial every other week. That kind of system was a little bit confusing, but eventually you kind of get the hang of it. And I think with this the expectation is a lot of independent study. So you're meeting less frequently with your professors for longer periods of time. But that does mean you have a lot more quote unquote free time. But what you're supposed to be doing is kind of doing the readings, doing the assignments in that free time. So just kind of getting used to that schedule can be somewhat of an adjustment. In terms of living on campus, so we have on-campus and off-campus options. I'll skip to this slide just to kind of walk you through the different options. We have three main types: the halls of residences, residential colleges, and student residences. They all sound the same, so I thought I would take a little bit of time to kind of differentiate the three. Halls of residences are much smaller. They're kind of community-based living arrangements. They have maybe 200 to 300 students, and they're kind of sprinkled throughout campus. So these are great for student activities and really getting to know local culture and US culture. So if you are up for that kind of living arrangement, I definitely recommend the halls. The residential colleges are some of our newest accommodations on campus. They do integrate an academic and a residential experience, and because of that, there's quite limited spots for the RCs. So if they don't show up on your drop-down list, there's no need to panic. It's just because the RCs with that academic component, they are just limited in what they're able to host. The student residences would be our largest. So they have several thousand exchange students. So just from capacity alone, you're most likely to be staying at a student residence. But just to kind of know the three different options, if they appear on your list, that would be kind of what sets them apart. The student residences, just given their size, they are quite independent living, so no meal plan. Students kind of come and go as they please. So if you're looking for that experience, do keep a lookout for the student residences as well. In terms of budget, I won't spend too much time on this slide, but Singapore does have a reputation of being one of the most expensive cities in the world. I think we were #1 for like 4 years, and then I just happened to read yesterday that we're now #4, so that's good. But I think what those kind of surveys don't show, they're comparing a basket of goods that are usually cars and condos or kind of property prices. And really those two things drive our index way up. So if you really think about the types of expenses that you'll be kind of incurring while you're here, it's actually quite an affordable destination. So these are all in USD and just kind of a breakdown of housing, food, public transportation. So I think if you think about the expenses that a student would be incurring, it's actually quite affordable. And I found even from my semester here that I saved money by going to Singapore, just kind of seeing how inexpensive the housing is, the food. If you're eating at those hawker centers or at the food courts on campus, you'll definitely find that the food is quite affordable. If you're taking the buses and trains, you'll see that you're able to see and do a lot on the island without spending a lot for transport. So I think kind of take those headlines with a pinch of salt. And then, yeah, now we're #4 instead of #1. So that does make us look more affordable on the global stage, which is a good thing. This is just kind of, if you're interested, these are our dates. So our application dates remain the same every year. So semester 1 is our fall semester. Semester 2 is our winter or spring. Being 1 degree above the equator, we don't really use fall and spring too often. So semester 1 and semester 2 is kind of how we refer to things. These are some other links. So this would be our main page on our global relations website, the info sheet, and the exchange guide. But the first step will be to speak to your UC advisor. So there's a 2-step process here, and UC will always be the first step to ensure that that NUS works for your academic requirements and for you to apply internally and be nominated before starting the NUS steps. I won't spend too much time on this just because the earliest you guys would be able to come over would be fall 2021 anyway, and hopefully a lot of these COVID measures would have been removed by then, because hopefully the pandemic will have lessened or gone away. But I'll draw your attention to these resources on the right-hand side. So this would be the latest update for the health and safety measures at NUS in terms of our response to COVID. The second is the latest border control measures from our Immigration and Checkpoints Authority. So that's very important in terms of if you're able to enter Singapore, if there's any kind of stay-at-home notice period required, if student visas are being issued. So number 2 is actually quite important. And then the last one would be NUS insurance. So what is covered under our insurance with regard to COVID? But just some kind of things that we're doing for the fall and will likely kind of spill over to the spring. We are zoning campus into 3 distinct areas to kind of limit contact between different schools and faculties. All classes above 50 are currently online. Let's see, so daily temperature. So we do have an app. So that would be the icon for the NUS app, and we declare our temperature every morning and evening. Yeah, and then the rest are just kind of nationwide mandates in terms of our access to testing, a check-in and check-out system, and the mandatory mask wearing island-wide. And to not end on a COVID note, so we have over 20,000 students who have participated in the exchange program over 20 years. And I bet UCAP is one of our earliest, if not earliest, exchange partners. So we do encourage you to be part of the NUS family. And the last kind of bit of information, this is a link for a video by an exchange student who chronicled the day of a life of an exchanger. So if you're interested in just kind of the more student-centric perspective, feel free to check that out in your free time as well. And with that, we hope to see you in Singapore very soon. And I think there's some slides for the UCAP part of the presentation.
Yes, thank you, Jacob. So I just like to quickly go over the UCEAP side of things. UCEAP is the official study abroad provider for the entire UC system. Our programs are designed specifically for UC students. While on UCEAP, you remain enrolled in your UC campus, which means you do not need to take a leave of absence during your study abroad program, and your UC financial aid goes with you. As a UCEAP student, you are also guaranteed that all your courses that you take abroad will receive UC credit. Next slide, please. So in order to participate on this program through UCEAP, you must have at least a 2.85 GPA and sophomore standing. And courses are taught in English, so there is no language requirement. And next slide. So we hope this presentation has provided you with a starting point on your study abroad journey and encourage you to explore the UCEAP website for detailed information about program options, finances, health and safety, and more. You should also visit your campus study abroad office website for information. Each UC campus has their own application process and deadlines, so please be sure to get in touch with your campus study abroad office. And next slide. Oh, actually, sorry, can you go back?
Oh, sorry, yep.
And once you're ready, please start your application by selecting the Apply Now button on the UCEAP website. And also keep in mind that a valid passport is required for all study abroad programs, and processing time for passports are currently delayed due to COVID. So if you need a passport or if you need to renew your passport, you should start that process immediately. Now, next slide, please.
Okay.
So for your reference, here is a list of the application deadlines and contact information by UC campus. Thank you for attending this info session. We will now move to the question and answers portion of the webinar. Please send us your questions that you have in the chat box.